Ahmed al-Hada was originally from Samara, Yemen. His brothers were well respected in the community, but he was considered the black sheep of the family, which was not financially well off. Ahmed al-Hada's son, Abu Jafar, went to Afghanistan and joined al-Qaeda soon after bin Laden returned from Sudan in 1996. He was a member of the Northern Group. Around 1997, Abu Jafar arranged the marriage of two of his sisters to two al-Qaeda operatives he had befriended in Afghanistan, Khalid al-Midar and Ahmed Mohammed Haza al-Darbi. Both al-Darbi and al-Midar traveled to Yemen to meet their future brides and got married in a double wedding ceremony attended by other al-Qaeda operatives. A few months later, they returned to Afghanistan with their wives. Al-Hada's other daughters also married al-Qaeda fighters. One of these sons-in-law was Mustafa al-Ansari, who used the alias Abed al-Karim al-Maki. Al-Midar had introduced the family to Ansari. Like Darbi and al-Midar himself, Ansari was a Saudi of Yemeni descent. We knew of him because he had been imprisoned in the Bayat Hasbra car theft incident, but we were not aware that he was related to Ahmed al-Hada. Ansari was later killed while conducting an attack in Yandu, Saudi Arabia, against Western workers at an oil installation. The other of al-Hada's al-Qaeda sons-in-law was Abd al-Wahhab al-Maki, who was killed in 1999 in Juzur al-Molek, Indonesia. Al-Hada was a cog in al-Qaeda's operations in Yemen. Bashir al-Assad was the organization's main travel facilitator in the country. He had also participated in jihad in Bosnia, Tajikistan, and Afghanistan. His role was to move recruits from Yemen to camps in Afghanistan. The person who helped him organize the movement of the Mujahideen was Abdul Razak Salah al-Najjar, who was married to Saad's sister Yemeni recruits that were received at the Kandahar guest house by Abu al-Qaduli, who was married to Shahad's other sister. The operative tasked with training recruits in the al-Faruq training camp was another brother-in-law of Saad's named Husam al-Din al-Himari. It was felt that blood loyalty would extend beyond ideology, making infiltration of the group less likely. Bin Laden's son Muhammad, considered by al-Qaeda members to be the most like his father, married the daughter of an al-Qaeda then military commander, Abu Hafs al-Masri. With his children all being al-Qaeda members or married to them, al-Hada's house in Sana'a naturally became a place where al-Qaeda operatives would meet. On most days, someone was there having meetings or just dropping by for a chat. This is what led to the number becoming the al-Qaeda switchboard in Yemen. At one point, al-Hada became upset at how high his telephone bill was, prompting al-Midar to joke that al-Hada was a penny pincher. Tragedy struck al-Hada's family when Abu Jafar was electrocuted in 1999 while fishing in Darunta Lake in Afghanistan. He was in a boat with another al-Qaeda member, while a third was on shore operating an electric transformer. They communicated by reflecting sun rays using a mirror. The person on shore misinterpreted the movement of the mirror on the boat as a signal and flipped the switch, while Abu Jafar was still in the water collecting fish. He died instantly. Al-Hada traveled to Afghanistan to visit his son's grave and stayed with his then pregnant daughter and her husband, Ahmed Mohammed Haza al-Darbi, who at the time was a trainer at the al-Faruq training camp. Al-Hada decided to join al-Qaeda. He underwent military training at Logar. Bin Laden met him there and honored him because of his age and known loyalty. Other operatives took to calling him Ahmed, also known as Uncle Ahmed. At the time of the training, a 30-kilometer march was required, As the instructors at first excused al-Hada because of his age, he became upset, and they responded by appointing him leader of the march. He was proud of leading the formation and carrying its flag. The fighters referred to him as Umda, an Egyptian term that translates to mayor. After training, he went to participate in jihad. He was dispatched to the front lines to fight against the Northern Alliance troops of Ahmed Shah Massoud. Due to his age, he was kept in the rear, next to the artillery. Another of his sons, Samir, who used an alias Abid al-Rahman, joined him in Afghanistan and attended an al-Qaeda training camp. Samir was later killed when he blew himself up with a hand grenade after being cornered by Yemeni security officials during an al-Qaeda operation in Yemen after 9/11. Al-Hada stayed in Afghanistan for roughly 5 months. On his way back to Yemen, he stopped in Kandahar, where bin Laden was hosting a dinner. Al-Hada was honored by being seated next to bin Laden. After his return to Yemen, al-Hada encouraged his third son, Abu Khalil, to travel to Afghanistan to join al-Qaeda. By the time we had finished, the Yemenis realized that Ahmed al-Hada wasn't just an ignorant old man. One of the operatives, Abu Jandal, and Ahmed al-Hada had mentioned was Abdul Aziz al-Janubi, an alias of Ahmed Muhammad Haza al-Darbi. We didn't know his real name at the time, so we referred to him as Abdul Aziz because of the information we had already had about him, including the fact that he had been in the same close combat class from which Khalid al-Mihdhar had been selected as a hijacker. We initially thought that al-Darbi might be among the 9/11 hijackers, but no one fitting his description was registered on any of the flights. After ruling out that possibility, I had asked Abu Jandal, "Do you think Abdul Aziz is operational?" "He is in the Special Operations Division," Abu Jandal had replied, "but to know for sure, he is operational right now. You should check where the family is. If he sent his wife back to her family, that means he's probably on a mission." We now asked Ahmed al-Hada, the wife's father, and confirmed that al-Darbi's family was back in Yemen, staying with him at his house. From the descriptions Abu Jandal and Ahmed al-Hada had given us of al-Darbi, we were able to further identify him, and we got a picture of him from the Yemenis. He had applied for a Yemeni passport under a different name. We sent out a worldwide alert to police forces and the intelligence agencies a few months later when I was back in the United States. I stopped at a grocery store in Manhattan and did a double take when I saw a New York Police Department wanted poster for al-Darbi behind the cash register. Eventually, al-Darbi was captured while attempting to visit his mistress in Azerbaijan.